Hello, everyone, and welcome to BFM 3130. This is week 3, and we are talking today about identifying business opportunities in fintech. As you know, whether we are going to do a startup or doing a business, any normal business, we have to find the user and we have to find the market. The same thing we do when we start a business called a fintech startup. It's a business, and therefore we need to identify the user and the market. Otherwise, there is no business going to be happening. And therefore, this week we are talking about those steps from a fintech perspective. Last week we bring Dr. Daniel, who talked about the business model canvas, and we talked about it a little bit. It will be incorporated today, but today we'll give you the whole picture. I will start with showing you the process from almost A to Z, how we start that startup, which is actually the subject of this unit. And then we will go, and today we will cover some of it, which is the market research. As I told you, this is a fintech business, which is needs to identify the user and the market and identify the gap, either in the product or either by leveraging on the technologies or the business models. Now, let me start by showing you this agenda, which is actually we are trying to identify the gaps and the problem in the tech market, so we can see where we can fit, and we will explore the market research. Now, as I told you, to find the user and the market, we need to do a market research. I don't know how much you have taken this in marketing, but it is a most important thing. We have to do it. It is a very systematic process, and then includes resources and way of analysis and all those things. Now, so many companies can do that for you. You can outsource that. You can outsource actually this service, but you have to be aware how does it work so you can understand what's going to happen. Now, let me, so we need to do also, as I told you, the explore the market. And then after we explore the market, which is coming from the market data, we want also to meet with the customers and see their pain points and need points. And also we want to understand what he wants. So there is a want and there is a pain. We will try to deal with it. And there is gains, what we are going to offer him better. So we will meet his wants in the first, and then we will see the pain and the gains of those. Now, we will leverage, as I told you, in the product. Is our product going to be different? Is our service going to be different? And are we charging more or less, which means the business model? And then we will also try to see within this journey, how can we leverage in the current technology, what our competitors are using, and how can we improve that if there is a trend in the technology. To make it short, let's introduce the process. And the process is just like this. This is the whole picture of building the fintech before we go to the deployment, which means before we put it in our website and start dealing with others. To come with a business, you have to study the market. You have to decide which area, for example, in fintech, are we talking about remittance? Are we talking about payments? Are we talking about supply chain? Are we talking about AI? Are we talking about blockchain and what is going to do? So all of those, we have to identify the market first. Of course, there will be some ideas from your observations, but at the end of the day, you have to do it systematically. And the way to do that, there is what we call market research. And market research is divided, maybe, I don't know that this is a new term for you or an old term, to secondary research or primary research. So when we talk about secondary research, I will define it, and primary research, I will define it. Now, you are doing a market research and you are collecting information. Let's just start with the primary research. What is the primary research? A primary research, you have to go and see the customer. Now, we can see one customer and we can see many of them. If we want to see many of them, I think you have, a slight idea about surveys. We do survey. We can send it online, we can hand it by hand, we can go and see potential customers in some areas, or some conferences, some markets, or we can even go to their places and distribute a very well-designed survey. And I will show you to decide to give us some feedback about what they want and what is going on. And I will explain it today. Now, this can come through surveys. And I told you, even if you are outsourcing this through a market, then there are companies who do it, but you have to understand the process, what they are doing. And if you decide to do it yourself, then with your team, then that is another thing. So you can have surveys, which is a distribution, or you can go and meet them, which is what we call it the interviews. The interviews, we go and we can make a focus group, like we made 3 or 4 of them, or we can meet one by one and design some type of interview questions about the product that you are planning to do, and then start to get some feedback from them. Now, after that, you will have your own observations, which is out of that. You talk to friends, you talk to family, you talk to classmates, you talk to colleagues, you have observations, and these observations can be seen and can be combined by all of this. Now, this is what we call the primary data. So the primary data is, or the primary research is a research done by you, specifically for specific customers, by contacting them through the surveys or for the interviews, or through noticing their needs and observe the consumer behavior in real life settings to identify the unmet needs. This is one thing. The other thing, which I think we will do, which most fintech companies will do here, because the market, either here or somewhere else, is so big, anybody can enter that market. We collect what we call the secondary data. And to summarize, what is the secondary data? Secondary data is actually data published. This can be published by governments, consulting firms, or what we call databases, all those people who are interested in the industry trends. So actually, you can collect about your competitors, you can collect market data from government publications, from associations, from market research firms, which are so many. Those Big Four and the other companies, they always publish trends, and I already shared with you in this lecture so many resources of them. Some of them you should pay for them, some of them are free. So the industry research, you just take down, you are taking the data now. After you take the data, you take it from this area. For example, you are following the payment system or the digital payments, who are working with digital payments. Your competitor in this case will be all those banks like Maybank and other banks who are using digital payments, and also a company like GHL, who is also doing this, who are working also on the payments. You will decide based on those reports. You will know the competitors, and you will collect market data about all those reports, about this industry or this subsection of the industry that you are planning to target or to work in, or to get your startup working in it. So this is where we get the secondary data. Now, also, thanks to these big data technologies and the EIs and all those tools we have, you can collect what you call online reviews. Now, can be collected from Facebook, from social media, from so many places. So you will read customer reviews on platforms like Amazon, Yelp. In this country, you have some other ones, but they are talking about the Americans. But there's always similar reviews. Here, the Big Four will do reviews. Bank Niagara will do reviews. Security Commission will do reviews. So we have all those reviews, and they can get all those reviews and try to analyze them. So you can get it from the social media also, where you can identify common complaints and unmet needs. Now, you go now to analyze your customer support data, which is analyze data from customer service interaction to find recurring issues or requests. This is also another customer feedback. And as I told you, you can listen to social media, monitor social media channels. You don't have to, see all of them, but you are actually compiling. The most important thing is actually this area and this area. We're just trying to add up to it, which is getting this customer feedback, and it should be consistent with what you have in the first stage. Now, after collecting this information, you have to do what we call identify the trends and the innovations. Maybe all those reviews and all those feedback based on the current technologies, the current demographic of the population, the current demographic of the geographic areas of the users, but there is a trend. For example, changes in locations, consumers, a demographic like whom you are going to target. Are you going to target people from 18 to 24 to 25 to 34? Are you talking about the Gen Zs? Are you talking about old people? Are you talking about, housewife? Are you talking about, it depends on who is going. Are you talking about people in urban areas? So you have to follow the trends of the population and the technologies there. So you keep following the technology, as I told you. You keep also following the consumer, and you keep following the regulatory change. All of those will tell you what you expect in the future. It didn't exist now. When we talk about trends, we think that trend will continue. And therefore, you are watching what other technology is coming to the market. People used to use are they going to use more AIs and blockchain and all these things? Or are they going to depend on the old servers and system and SQL and all those things we see before and providers? Or is there any new trends in the technologies and also in the providers of those technologies? Maybe they are providing new technologies that will fit your startup. As I told you, in the payment system, we can use so many systems. There is a standard one where you can, after you establish your prototype, or after you develop the coding and start with the system, before you deploy it, they are using certain technology for the payment systems, which is dealing with those technology providers. But maybe there are some other technologies coming in the future, and some people are trying to use it. It depends, as I told you, on the area that you are planning to work in. So if you are going to work in RegTech, it's different. Robo advisors, it's a different one. This is a very, very AI type of technologies. If you are going to talk about, just payment system or remittance or some of those, then it's different. If you are going to do international or cross-country trading, are you going to go for the blockchain? If you are going to go with the cryptos, then for sure it's a blockchain. And what kind of blockchain you are going to take? So you have to understand all of those trends, the current and the one that is coming. And most importantly also are, for example, in this country, the Security Commission, which is actually regulating what you call the crowdfunding platforms and what you call crowdfunding startups. Are they going to have any new regulations coming under the way? And is Bank Nigar going to do something about this P2P lending? Do they have any regulation coming for the payment system? All of those you have to be aware of. And you are now, as I told you, you are in the stage of collecting this information. So you know now what the customer needs, you know the industry trends, you know some other feedback from the online through the big data collection. And now you start to perform what we call SWOT analysis. You can do the SWOT analysis in two areas. SWOT analysis for your customers, for your competitors. You see what is your strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for your competitors and for you, and whether you have an edge on that. Also, when you do SWOT analysis for your own business, so you will develop the strengths and weaknesses, opportunities, and threat, and you will see where you are going to go, especially when you are in this stage. This is actually the opportunity. Now here you are a little bit under the threat. Here when the things are not really bad, and this is actually the strength, or so you want actually to leverage on those. So as I told you, you are identifying all the trends here, which one is going up, which is going down, and why they are going up or they are going down. And this will tell you some about the future. Then you are analyzing the SWOT of your business, the one that you are working with. For example, we are going to go and work in digital wallets. You want to take the digital wallets, and you will see the weaknesses and the opportunities specifically for your business that you are going to do. Now, after this, until here, actually, you are collecting all the information, you are compiling all the information, and this stage, through analysis, which I will show you after you collect all those information, you are in a position actually to see whether there is a market or no market, and you are able actually to do what we call value proposition. Now, this is what is the market. This is the pains. You already know the pains, the gains, the wants of the customer. You know the reviews, you know the trends, you know what's going to happen in the future. You are now in a position to draft your value proposition based on those facts, based in this information. And this will need analysis of all of those information, and it has to be very scientific way. In a very scientific way, we will talk about it as I will show you later on. And then you will come to bridge, because you have already collected this information, if you are talking about the business canvas. Now you are in the green area, which you are providing the value proposition, which is based on those information and based on your analysis, and you draft what you are going to provide in terms of service, how much it will cost, who are your target customers, how you are going to how you are going to provide the service, how much you are charged, you are going to charge, and what kind of charging. Is it subscription? It is fees? It is what? And then this, what we call it, the business model. The business model means where we are going to get your money from. Then based on that, you can come to the decide on the sales. Now you will build sometimes like income statement or pro forma income statement for this business. When you start with the sale, because you already know the market, you know how going to charge, you know your revenue. So in this case, when you identify the market, the user, and all the channels which you are going to reach to this customer, and to provide your value proposition, you are actually able to come up with your income. And if we get the sales, then automatically we can get all the expenses of that. So now we started to see how much resources we are going to use, and in terms of activities, in terms of people, in terms of systems, and how much that will cost us. And therefore, the revenues in this case should be higher than the expenses, and you are making a profit based on your in your expectations and based on this scientific things. Now, in this case, you are actually ready to get to provide the business. Start the business. Now, when we start the business, we have to go to provide a basic product. We call it minimum viable product. Now, the minimum viable product is very important because it will just bring, and there is techniques for it, to bring the minimum functions in your app. For example, we are doing that app, and of course you have in this case already followed the coding, built the system, built the website, used all this, used all this technology of the providers for the security systems, for its full products. It's actually 4 products. If you can see it here, this customer is seeing the app of your app and what you are going to do. And it's just, you are interested to see what he thinks about this final product. So he's now looking at your final product and will decide. This is like a prototype, or what you call it, MVP. Now, this MVP, after you deploy it to the customers, because you deploy it as a final to the system, you will test it to the customer, and they will get the customer feedback. And then based on this customer feedback, it's not only one customer, so many, then you start to do the other improvements on the product. And as I told you, I uploaded one video about MVP and how they decide on which items, actually, if you are doing an e-commerce, which items in the app should be important when you deploy it in the first. Then they will come up to you with other comments, and then you will actually finalize your product and deploy it completely and start your journey of growth. This is actually the end of part 1. I will meet you in part 2. So just one more thing to say here. If you look at the market research, this is actually the market research. These 5 steps: survey, interview customers, analyze the competitors, read online reviews and forums, track the industry trends, and do the SWOT analysis for the industry you are working in and for the business you are doing it. You are having. So this is the SWOT analysis. And as I told you, to collect secondary data, which is the report, which is this area. Also, when we collect this one, for example, the analyze customer feedback, we have to use what we call big data collected from those social medias and reviews and all those places. And actually, we have so many tools, thanks to technology, who provide us with Google Trends. You can get it. And Google Trends, you can get it by country. SEMrush, you can get it also. I brought for you today in my lecture Statista. Now, Statista is actually cover the whole world. You can even make a comparison between Singapore and Malaysia in some type of in subsection of this fintech technologies. Like, for example, you want to talk about the payment systems. the payment or the digital investment, which is the crowdfunding and their platforms and all these things. They will provide you. This is Singapore and this is Malaysia, and they will give you so many data. Survey Monkey also doing this. And next week, I'm planning to bring an expert from the marketing department to tell us about how to use Web Scraper and Google Analytics. As I told you, finally, when you have the resources, but you don't have the resources when you start, when you are at the seed stage, you collect it from it's your money and saving, which you call it family business, for family money or your savings, whatever, or you with your partners, you will finance all of these things, and maybe you cannot do, you don't have a hold or resources. It's a bootstrap type of financing. If you can do that, then you can use it by yourself and save a lot of money. This is the end of part 1. So this is actually part 1, and we are done with it. Thank you very much. I will stop here, and then I will see you in the second part. Thank you.